Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Ethan Ryder. Thank you for joining us. Memorial Day is a time to remember and a time of tradition. And one of those traditions is the annual flagging ceremony to decorate graves at Arlington National Cemetery. As Elsa Horteras reports from Washington Bureau.
When Connor Zersey joined the Air Force a year ago, he may not have thought Arlington National Cemetery would be a part of his service, but that's where the former Buckeye resident found himself 5 a.m. Thursday.
I'm definitely a small part of, there's tons of people out here today, so many headstones, so many more people. I'm a very small part, but I definitely feel like I am making a difference.
Zersey was here for Flags In, the day every year when military members plant flags on every one of the more than 200,000 Arlington graves in honor of Memorial Day. 1,200 soldiers and sailors hauling backpacks stuffed with small American flags fanned out through the rows of headstones, walking and planting a flag, then moving to the next one and planting another flag.
And the more time I spend in the cemetery, the more opportunity I have to walk these hallowed grounds, the more I learn about the stories of some of these individuals. And in getting to do this and participate a third time now, I start to walk past headstones that I remember the stories of.
Flags In has been an annual event since 1948. Soldiers work mostly alone, using a boot to mark the distance from the headstone before planting a flag, often pausing at a grave to honor the veteran buried there.
And the opportunity to place flags down for the people that came before me, which filled me with joy.
For Zersey, it's a time to honor and a way to connect with home while he's far away.
Every headstone has their place of origin, so I look out for those places, see if, people who were also from Arizona.
The flags will remain until the day after Memorial Day, when volunteers will remove all 220,000 flags. Until next year at Arlington National Cemetery, Elsa Horteras, Cronkite News.
With Memorial Day on Monday, we encourage you to engage in your own traditions as we remember those lost and celebrate those still here. Democrats fell short of passing a gun control bill in the Senate after the recent mass shootings. Republicans joined together and killed the domestic terrorism bill. It would have given life to the debate on hate crimes and gun safety. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said he hopes the bill becomes a base for future legislation. A small group made up of senators both from parties have met for further negotiations. The three topics of contention: background checks, programs to increase school security, and red flag laws. Red flag laws are laws aimed at keeping guns out of those who are in danger of harming others or themselves. More and more public figures are speaking out in the wake of the Uvalde shooting. This time it came from the Catholic Church.
I
am heartbroken by the massacre at the elementary school in Texas. I pray for the children and the adults who were killed and for their families. It is time to say enough to the indiscriminate trafficking of weapons. Let us all make a commitment so that tragedies like this cannot happen again.
The Archbishop of Chicago echoed the Pope's remarks. The Cardinal tweeted in part, "The Second Amendment did not come down from Mount Sinai. The Second Amendment will never be more important than human life." People with student loans could soon be breathing a sigh of relief. The White House reportedly has new plans to cancel $10,000 in student loan debt per person. But there's a catch. The forgiveness would be limited to those who earn less than $150,000 a year. Biden had planned to make the announcement at the graduation for the University of Delaware, but the shooting in Uvalde caused a change of plans. Early voting here in Arizona could be a thing of the past if the Republican Party has its way. State Republicans have breathed new life into a lawsuit to end early voting in Arizona, and the state's top attorney won't be defending the case. According to the Arizona Republic, the paper reports Attorney General Mark Brnovich has dropped out of the case. According to court records, this comes from an agreement between Brnovich and the Republican Party. The lawsuit contends that early voting is unconstitutional, but it's more popular than ever. DataOrbital.com says more than 2 million early voting ballots were cast in Arizona back in 2020. It's Memorial Day weekend, and if you were thinking of waiting to do your errands, you might want to plan ahead. If you want to avoid those library fines, we recommend turning in your books early because libraries in your area will likely be closed. Your city garbage and recycling won't pick up on Monday, but it should be delayed one day. City and federal offices, schools, and school districts will also be closed. Also, many banks are expected to be closed, but be sure to call to confirm that. And most buses will be running on Memorial Day, but most likely on limited schedule. We advise doing a quick check before leaving the house. The Arizona Coyotes are planning a new entertainment district in Tempe, but not everyone is happy about it. The proposed site sits less than 2 miles from runway approach. Sky Harbor officials have been raising the alarm. They have concerns about air traffic noise, building heights, and other things like fireworks that could impact aircraft. The project is expected to cost $1.7 billion.
Welcome to Cronkite Sports. I'm Ruby Aurora. He's an NCAA wrestling champion, former ASU star and current Guinness World Record holder. Now Anthony Robles is trying to defy the odds once again. Cronkite News reporter Lauren Green was on hand for his latest arm curling quest.
It began at 9 a.m., a quest to do the most pull-ups in 24 hours to break the Guinness World Record, 7,716 to be exact. But just 9 hours into the event that was live streamed on the Guinness YouTube channel, Anthony Robles dropped to the ground, unable to go on.
Coming out of my break, everything was good. You know, our plan was to hit 8 and 6s, and that was just padding that buffer that I already had. And I think it was my fourth set in, I just felt something pop in my left bicep. We got it checked out. We could feel some sort of separation there, and sucks.
A disappointing finish for the former ASU wrestling star, as Robles was a couple hundred pull-ups ahead of pace to beat Brandon Tucker's 2019 record. Friends and family were on hand in support of Robles, who spent over 2 years training for the event.
I'm going to be here for these next few days as he kind of decompresses, and I'm sure everything's going to be hitting him, but you know, that's what a spouse and a partner is for.
Despite Robles falling short of this world record, there was still a victory seen in the mere attempt to accomplish the impossible.
Some people just don't even try because the fear of failure, and that's not him. And I can't say that he failed today.
Robles completed 2,721 pull-ups with around 15 hours left in the competition. While Robles fell short of this attempt, in due time, we could see him making another strive to break this record in the future.
Even though I call him my Superman, he's human, and you know, we all face challenges, but that's his message. He'll be back.
Reporting from Phoenix, Lauren Green, Cronkite News.
Robles still holds the world record for most pull-ups in 1 minute with an 80-pound weight added. His other record, most pull-ups in 1 minute with a 60-pound weight, has since been broken. The NCAA men's golf tournament teed off at Greyhawk Golf Club in Scottsdale today. Fourth-ranked Arizona State is expected to make a run behind strong players like junior David Pooch. Head coach Matt Thurman says if Pooch gets hot, the rest of the team should follow.
If you look back, and maybe last year at the NCAA championship being slightly an exception, when David plays well, our team wins. And he plays with just so much energy and enthusiasm and passion that when he's playing well, it rubs off on everybody else, and everybody feels it.
8th-ranked Arizona State takes on 9th-ranked Northwestern in the NCAA Softball Super Regional tonight in Tempe. The Sun Devils are led by Pac-12 Freshman of the Year, Sydney Sanders. Sanders team in home runs, batting average, and slugging percentage during the regular season. In last weekend's regional championship, Sanders broke the ASU single-season home run record, saying her approach at the plate, it's pretty simple.
See ball, hit ball, that's really what I go into the box looking for. Like, I'm looking for a strike. Obviously, like, if it's a ball, let it go. Just keeping it simple in the box.
That's all we have for today's Cronkite Sports Report. Back to you, Ethan.
Thanks, Ruby. Arizona is doing its part to help foster a new pack of wolves into the wild. 11 Mexican wolves pups have been fostered into wild wolf dens across Arizona and New Mexico. The pups are born into captivity across the country and then introduced into wild litters around 14 days old. The Southwest Wildlife Conservation Center in Scottsdale provided 2 of the pups who were then fostered into the Panther Creek pack here in AZ. The Mexican Wolf Interagency Field Team uses the program to help increase genetic diversity in the Mexican wolf populations. The foster program has seen great success in its mission to grow a healthy and diverse wolf population across the Southwest. According to the team's research data, the foster pups have the same survival rate as wild-born pups and has resulted in the wolf population doubling since 2015. After the break, we'll take a look back at stories from our education team, from efforts to help adults get their high school diplomas to encouraging young girls to look at careers in construction.
What you get from Washington Week that you will not get anywhere else are the best and the brightest reporters from different media companies, and they're able to have a real conversation about things that are happening in Washington and around the country. But it's also a show about issues that are relevant to different communities. How do you think that, as the moderator, I feel this deep responsibility to bring in those other perspectives so that people understand how power and politics impact their daily lives.
Friday nights at 7 on Arizona PBS.
Hey, I'm Rick Steves. You know, I don't go anywhere without my passport. And now, thanks to PBS Passport, you can travel with me and watch all 10 seasons of Rick Steves Europe and all my travel specials. This exclusive streaming service is just for our members. Not only can you see all my shows, but you can see thousands of hours of your favorite public television shows. Become a member today and get your passport.
Passport is adding new shows and doubling the number of episodes for you to stream. For the first time ever, our most popular programs have been selected just for you.
But there's so much more.
Whether you like to travel,
wow,
feast,
and calories don't count.
Look back.
That is me.
Discover.
You know the whole story.
There's something for everyone.
Let's get to it right away.
Stream on any device with Passport on the PBS Video app.
School and law enforcement officials gathered in Phoenix today to talk about the growing concerns of violence on school campuses. On the last day of this summit, there was a lot of talk about how to ease the concerns about safety in schools. Dozens of officials from across the country gathered for the last day of the School Safety, Security, and Trauma-Informed Practices National Summit at Grand Canyon University. Among them, Maricopa County Sheriff Paul Penzone, who spoke about the growing concerns of students feeling unsafe at school.
Now suddenly we're faced with this threat of safety that no student should ever have to go to class wondering if they'll go home that day.
Penzone was joined by the police chief at GCU, who explained that for college students, mental health is connected with violence on campuses. According to the Center for Homeland Defense and Security, there were close to 250 shooting incidents at schools last year. Sheriff Penzone said this is something that is now becoming all too common.
It was once, taboo that our churches and our schools and other places didn't seem like an area that should ever be targeted by someone for violence, suddenly have become primary targets.
Also on the conference agenda, conversations about threat mitigation, analysis of school shootings, and what school safety means to students. Penzone mentioned the idea that teachers should defend their students at school, but push back and said school resource officers are better trained for those situations. The keynote address today was given by the father of one of the Parkland school shooting victims, who is now an advocate for safer schools.
About 700,000 adults in Arizona do not have their high school diploma, but a new center opening up in Arizona will give adults the opportunity to finish, or for some, start their high school education. As Faith Abercrombie tells us, these centers are placed in areas where they're needed the most.
Without this program, a lot of people wouldn't make it.
A high school for adults.
It's not just a high school. It's a place where everybody will know your name.
But also a place for new beginnings.
But you're also going to have a job coach and a life coach. You're going to have a child care center right down the hall from your class so that your kiddos are safe.
The Goodwill Excel Center is a tuition-free public high school that will be a resource for the 14% of adults in Arizona without a diploma.
And we're going to be opening more of these types of facilities so we can service the need that's necessary in Arizona.
The first Excel Center is located in central Phoenix, where 5 miles in every direction, less than half of the adults haven't completed high school. The hope is to create schools in other areas where the need for adult high school education is high.
The state could easily have 25 to 30 Excel centers, and they're going to range in size from 300 students at a time, 350 like this campus, even to small campuses that only have 50 to 100 students. But we're coming for you.
Classes will begin at this first center in August. In Phoenix, Faith Abercrombie, Cronkite News.
The center was funded in part with $12 million from the state. Excel centers in 5 other states have had success, with 97% of students graduating.
Women make up 10% of the construction workforce. Sharp Construction and Girl Scouts partnered up in an effort to pave the way for the future of the industry. I spoke with one Girl Scout eager to get her hands on some tools in the new project. Girls Can Build is an initiative to educate young women interested in construction.
I'm very excited because this program specifically is going to give more girls opportunities to pursue things in architecture and building.
Savannah Ellis has been a Girl Scout for 6 years, and her interest in this industry came from her love of math and building.
I've built a swing set with my grandpa. I build a lot of stuff just out of scrap materials like cardboard.
Savannah, like many other Girl Scouts, is excited to learn more about the industry, and that is the goal of Tiffany Sharp of Sharp Construction.
It's too often that I see high school students that are graduating, and these young girls are going to college with the idea that they're expected to select their career for the rest of their life, but they don't really always know what career opportunities are really there for them.
Girls Can Build announced its first project with the Girl Scouts Arizona Cactus Pine Council.
With our partnership with Girl Scouts, we are fundraising to build a mobile workshop.
This unit will drive around to different campsites and include tools and other hands-on opportunities.
The opportunity to touch the tools, learn about life skills such as fixing a toilet or any of those items where these are skills that even if they don't go into the trades would definitely be helpful as they manage their future apartments or houses or just in life.
Women make up almost 52% of the workforce across the country, according to Sharp. But that number is not seen in construction.
I feel like there's a massive gap in the amount of women that are getting up every single day, leaving their families and going to work, but not coming into our industry.
Sharp hopes that if a young girl has a passion for building like she did, they won't let anything get in their way.
If your dream is to design or build, then be it. Be bold to build.
They hope to have the mobile unit built and open for use in the fall, and they are raising money to make it happen.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned for Break It Down. That's next. For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Break It Down is brought to you in part by Mayo Clinic and viewers like you.
Today we're talking about culture and music, specifically Black culture. How does that resonate with us on the dance floor and in our ears? And how can music change the world? I'm your co-host, Lady Caress, and this is Break It Down. Mark Picchiotti, thanks so much for joining me. Now, when I think about culture, Black culture and music, I think about a heartbeat. I think about music that resonates with people who aren't necessarily even Black. Now, Mark, you are a producer, you are a DJ, and you make and play all types of music. In your opinion, what is Black music?
Oh, what is Black? Well, first off, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. Black music. Wow. I guess, well, for me, music, so much of music has been generated. So much of the music that we hear today has been generated from Black culture. I mean, R&B and hip hop and all of that is, I mean, I'm not going to go into the full, what I see the evolutionary history of that is. Oppression drives human motivation in different ways and manners, okay? So the way I see it is this. If I'm internalizing struggle, pain, blah, 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 and I can come out a lot of different ways. I can be angry at someone, I can yell at someone, I can internalize it, and then if I internalize it, it eats me from the inside. So I think Music as an opportunity is a way for anyone to express what may be feeling inside of them. You know, I actually recently read that just singing is an endorphin releaser. And I've been doing that when I'm down or scared or depressed. I'll throw on a song and I'll sing like a Beatles song, like Let It Be, some song that's sort of ubiquitous. But even let's look at that, you know, a song like the Beatles, where did that come from? Well, they borrowed it from the R&B world. That was, you know, everything that was happening in the 40s and 50s. And where did that come? That came, I think, from the Black experience. You know, all of the spirituals and all of that is driven by a desire for a better place. But I think from a very altruistic standpoint, from an understanding about humanity. I'm a human being just as much as anyone else. I feel, I think, I breathe, I eat, blah, blah, blah. So, but I'm oppressed. So if we go all the way back to slavery, where there was not a lot of leg room to move about, one could certainly sing. And where is that coming from? It's coming from a place of authenticity.
Real music comes from the heart. It comes from pain. It comes from an authentic place that transcends whether you're, you know, Black, white, Hispanic, it doesn't matter. It just comes from feeling, right? I know you personally, and I know when you talk about music that you feel, music that really resonates with you. I know you love gospel music. That's something that does resonate with you. I mean, I've sat with you and you've like gone through a gospel track with me and been like, yo, blown away. What is it about that kind of music that resonates with you, that gets you?
It's funny when you said that, I kind of put myself listening to gospel house and I just got all like full of good feelings, right? Yeah. So the soulful music comes from the heart, which to me says, so when I teach in my classes, I tell my students, you're going to learn how to make music, but more importantly, you're going to learn how to change or how to affect human emotion, because all songs will drive some sort of feeling, right? So soulful music comes from the heart. So if I feel it, and you know, I'm making it, I know someone else is going to. So the people that made that music in the first place were already feeling it. So the music is an extension. It is an offering of an emotion, of an opportunity for an experience for someone else to feel. In particular, when it's a female singer, there's something about the timbre of the female voice, especially a large voice, a big gospel voice, that really just hits you. Hits me, most people. I think you have to be dead inside if you can't feel that kind of, you know, vibe. So you have that. And for me as a DJ, I'm incorporating that into, especially in my own productions, into a dance beat.
Mark, when we talk about representation, representation is huge. Why is Black culture important to music, in your opinion?
It's the foundation of a lot of music in general. I'll go all the way back. Where did it start? We're really young in the evolution of music. We're finally at a place now where there's not a lot of genres that have not been explored. So you're seeing cross-pollination of genres brought together by all sorts of artists. So I'll just cut straight to it. Black music is the root of so much music. The Black experience that generated the desire to express oneself in a certain way is what has been, you know, brought into all sorts of music. If we were talking about Black music, what other adjective do you put in front of me? What other, is it against all other music? Is it Black music and then every other music? Or where does it sit within the spectrum? The hierarchy, if you will.
I think that's a great question, right? Because I think we could be talking about Black music in terms of music that comes from a space of pain, right? We could talk about music that comes from a place of authenticity that doesn't necessarily have to be performed by a Black person, right? We could talk about Black music as like real, I mean, just unedited truth, right? We can talk about it in that sense because I feel like that is a categorization of Black music. Or we can say Black music is done by Black people, and we can say that Black music, it's so powerful to me to have that definition. And I think it's powerful because there were so many moments in our lives when we weren't able to be us, right? There's so many moments in our lives where we just had to assimilate or be a part of a general public, that I think being able to separate and define and say, like, this music right here was done by a Black person, it means that when I listen to it, what I'm getting and what I'm receiving from the lyrics, from the notes, from the arrangements, is something that most likely I can also relate to, because it's an experience that I share, right? And so to me, Black music is just like saying, you know, seeing a Black person on a television or seeing a Black person in a short film. It's representation. It means that I'm in music. It means that, and it's not against everything else, but it means that there is where I can go to find out more about me, who I am, where I come from, and what I feel. And I think that's super powerful. And I think it's also a way for us to share. I mean, so many times people may not have a Black friend, but you may have an album written by someone who's Black, and listening to that, cutting that on, may give you some insight into what their experience may be like, whether or not you've had a physical interaction with them or not. And I think that's the beauty of having music that is culturally based and music that speaks authentically to a cultural experience. Well, Mark Picchiotti, thank you so much for joining me to have this conversation. And I'm excited to hear what you all have to say. What is Black culture? What is Black music? And how do they connect? What's been your experience? Put it in the chat. Let us know. Can't wait to hear more from you. Well, this has been Break It Down. Thanks so much for joining us.
This hour of local news is made possible by contributions from the Friends of PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you. If you have comments about Arizona PBS News, please contact us at one of the addresses on your screen. Thank you.